Agora vamos enganar minha mãe, vó.
Vamos.
Ela tá na louça ali, você vai jogar nela.
Vamos. Ei! Oi!
Well, that's the perfect representation of what the United States is doing right now to Ukraine in Europe. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. My name is Zuckerdeski here of wearechange.org, and there is a lot of absolutely wild and crazy news out there to get into today, as of course, domestically, the situation is not getting any better with the current regime just becoming more delirious and deranged as, of course, internally. Things have not been good, especially when it comes to domestic American policy, as, of course, there's a lot of criminality out there. How is it being prosecuted? How is it being treated? What's the latest with the former president of the United States, as well as a new up-and-coming candidate? Well, we're going to be talking about that, plus a lot more, all here on this independent media organization. And if you like the shirt that I'm wearing, you can get it on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. The clip that we played in the beginning of this broadcast, I have no idea who made, but I saw the clip on my Twitter timeline from No Context Humans. I don't know exactly who the original creator of this is, but this made for a perfect analogy to American foreign policy right now in Europe, especially when it comes to the very dangerous situation between the Russians and the Ukrainians. So I couldn't resist and not show it and talk to you about it. If you know the original creators, please let me know down in the comment section below so we could attribute them so more people could watch their skits that make us laugh during these very difficult times where the foreign policy in America is reaching such a delusional, deranged point that the Wall Street Journal is literally writing op-ed pieces titled, quote, "The United States should show it could win a nuclear war." Yes, you heard that correctly. The corporate media, the intelligence agency tied repeaters at the Wall Street Journal that are also known as being good prostitutes of the horse stream media are literally calling for nuclear war as a part of some kind of strategy that's going to work in anyone's favor when, of course, if there is a nuclear war, there wouldn't be a world left afterwards. And again, this is the type of lunacy, this is the type of neoconservative, war hawkish type behavior that is absolutely disgusting, as currently the President of the United States is battling his teleprompter. Yes, you heard that correctly. Joe Biden is battling with his cognitive skills and his tongue, which is being very conveniently blamed on a dental surgery that he recently had. Emergency surgery. As of course, the many faces of Joe Biden have publicly came out and called for a lot of strange things like Trubanamna Shashin. And who can't forget this one?
Oh, let's go lick the world. Let's get it done.
And of course, this latest one during an environmental event in Washington, D.C. just moments ago, where the very competent and astute leader of the free world said this.
We're going to win and we're going to help. We have plans to build a railroad from the Pacific all the way across the Indian Ocean. We have plans to build in Angola, one of the largest solar plants in the world. I could go on, but I'm not. I'm going off script. I'm going to get in trouble.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to get in trouble for, quote, going off script, as he's barely able to make coherent sentences, and this is what the neoconservatives want as the main leader leading us into a perpetual nuclear conflict with a world superpower? All of this, as it's important to note here that the military-industrial complex is a bloated major industry known for its corruption, price gouging, and cheating the American people on items that we're paying for with our tax dollars that are absolutely way overpriced. And even though the United States has the highest paid for military, we do have to wonder how much of that military is actually effective and how much of that military just conveniently pays for, of course, the executives of Lockheed Martin to, of course, have luxury homes and yachts. All of this as the Pentagon is busy creating a pride coloring book for children for some reason. As domestically inside of the United States, I think it's fair to say that there definitely is a fifth generational warfare going on that is spurring on a larger divide and conquer agenda that is having the people from the left and right literally fight each other. Fighting each other politically with a lot of institutionalized power, especially in major Democratic areas like in New York City, where just this past week, there have been multiple individuals that have been assaulted, attacked, stabbed, lacerated, slashed, beaten, paralyzed, and had men force themselves on women on, with record amounts of crime going up in New York City. All of this as a grand jury in that city just indicted ex-Marine Daniel Penny over him putting a homeless schizophrenic that was allowed in and out of jail nearly 40 times now, which led to events that ended his life. Now, exactly what ended the life of Jordan Neely? Again, we still do not know as of yet. This as Daniel Penny is facing 15 years in jail for what some people a part of the incident have been saying was a part of a life-saving attempt that clearly spiraled out of control, was an accident, and is now a national case that, of course, is dividing the nation. An agenda that we routinely call out on LukeUnfiltered.com, our own website where we get to say and do whatever we want. All of this as we are going to have a new bombshell video only available for members right after this video, specifically talking about good old Billy Boy and his adventures in China now that are definitely worth paying attention to, especially when it comes to all the genetically modified mosquitoes, wastewater beer, and human genome testing that he's a part of, that we are all going to extensively be talking about in an unfiltered, uncensored, more frank and honest way on LukeUnfiltered.com. If you haven't signed up yet, what are you waiting for? It's quick, it's easy. Just click the link down in the description below. Click here to join for less than 50 cents a day. And then when you join, you get an amazing amount of options available to you, including resources, 3 master classes, a shirt, and an in-real-life meetup. I almost forgot about this. I'm doing an in-real-life meetup with only members and a lot of very special guests, specifically this Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern in Tampa Bay, Florida. If you are in the Tampa Bay, Florida, and are a member of LukeUnfiltered.com, we will be getting together with some very prominent individuals, hanging out, breaking bread, talking to each other. Definitely not drinking any wastewater beer, as I am a sober Susie, but you could do whatever you want, as we're going to have a really cool public gathering. I did 2 of these already, one in Austin, Texas, one in Miami. They were all incredible. About 50 people usually come out, and even though I'm kind of announcing this one last minute, definitely get the word out there. Feel free to bring some friends. The location of the meetup will be released the morning of on LukeUnfiltered.com, so just make sure that you are able to log in Saturday morning. We will tell you exactly where we're meeting up, and I will see you there later on at 6 p.m., where we're all going to hang out and have a lot of fun together. Again, lots of influencers in Tampa that I know that are going to be coming out, lots of really cool people. This is going to be the event to be at Tampa Bay, Florida, 6 p.m. this Saturday. I will see you there in real life, in person, at part of one of many perks available for members of LukeUnfiltered.com, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Unlike our current political circus, that is the opposite of fun and escalating out of control and becoming dangerous for everyone involved in it. All of this as, of course, the former president of the United States just was indicted on 37 counts of mishandling classified documents and paperwork, which, according to John Kelly, who served as Donald Trump's chief of staff from July 2017 to January 2019, Trump is allegedly scared crapless and, quote, for the first time in his life will be held accountable for what? Not having the documents there. All of this, as today we're also getting a lot of different perspectives on this entire matter, as the Daily Mail, along with the Washington Post, are also reporting that Donald Trump rejected his lawyer's effort to, quote, avoid a classified document indictment. All of this as there's allegations that many lawyers urged Donald Trump to hand over the documents, that there was multiple attempts to actually speak to the Attorney General here to try to settle this case, which, according to some legal sources, Trump allegedly refused and now is facing obstruction of justice charges. All of this, as I think it's fair to say that Donald Trump is embattled with a lot of legal battles right now. This as even Alan Dershowitz, his former lawyer and friend and confidant of Mr. Epstein, came out and recently wrote a very interesting article talking about how the former president of the United States cannot get a top-tier lawyer to represent him, specifically talking about a nefarious group that has been intimidating lawyers not to represent Donald Trump. And even if these allegations against Trump are true, I think it's fair to say that indicting the former president of the United States and trying to throw him in jail over not producing and handling paperwork correctly is an absolute huge injustice to the American legal system, and something that is making Donald Trump a martyr. This, as the former president of the United States has been gaining in polls and getting more support over this indictment news, which is bringing in a lot of money for his campaign. All of this as he's leaving his competition in the dust, as his political opponents are cheering on prosecutors who, of course, are charging him. The one specific prosecutor that's being brought up here is prosecutor Jack Smith, that some Democrats are trying to make the poster boy of their latest merchandise push as their hero, showing that the Democrats that fully backed the Black Lives Matter movement are fully on board and support of federal prosecutors and police officers when they, of course, punish the individuals that they don't like for political wrongthink. Sounds very familiar to what's been happening to a lot of, whistleblowers, independent journalists, and organizations like WikiLeaks that, of course, have been unfairly prosecuted by both the Democrats and the Republicans. It was under Donald Trump's administration, with his staff specifically, that went after Julian Assange and have created a situation where he is now in solitary confinement for the remainder of his life, as he is still waiting extradition to the United States. This situation escalated directly under the Trump administration that, according to many sources, tried to work out a deal with Assange to release his sources as an attempt to offer him a deal to stop prosecuting him and free him. As we know, Assange, of course, has not released any of his sources and still remains in jail today, which is a huge crime against humanity, as, of course, he's not even an American citizen, and for him to be in jail, waited to be extradited to the United States after releasing documents that provided accountability and transparency for the intelligentsia and U.S. government here, is absolutely ridiculous. And one of the people that recognizes how ridiculous it is another presidential hopeful on the Democratic ticket, and that, of course, is Robert Kennedy Jr., who has recently been saying a lot of really interesting things, especially when it comes to SSRIs, especially when it comes to the chemical poisoning of our environment, that, according to him, is leading to a lot of gender dysphoria. He also recently, just a couple days ago, made some very interesting statements surrounding his take on Snowden and Assange, which I think are worth listening to.
I think that, when Snowden released, nobody in our country knew about that. The intelligence agencies were mining all of our data and spying on Americans.
Members of Congress didn't know. I remember members of Congress calling me and saying, "Tell me what's going on. I have not the Intelligence Committee, and I haven't heard this."
Yeah, and Congress then went and acted on what he told them to change the rules. Oh, how are you making this guy a criminal? He's an American hero. Yeah, I'm going to pardon those guys, up front. I mean, I'm going to look at their cases. Assange, I'm going to pardon on day one.
And an Assange pardon on day one definitely galvanizes a lot of support for a lot of people paying attention to this very important anti-establishment case that is key and crucial for the future of the free press in the United States. And just as Donald Trump is gaining in the polls, so is RFK Jr., that, of course, is ranking in higher favorability than any other major 2024 presidential candidate. This, as Axios is reporting, that Biden could lose the first two 2024 contests to RFK Jr., highlighting specifically that the primary season is up for grabs and that anything could happen here, especially with the very elderly, senile career politician that clearly is just doing whatever he's told to do. And the more gaffes he has, does that open the door for RFK Jr.? Is that someone that you are interested in looking at right now, especially when it comes to a potential Democratic primary, which the establishment is trying to make sure doesn't happen? What's your thoughts on RFK from 1 to 10? How much do you trust him? Let me know down in the comment section below. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys participating in this independent media organization, and I'm only here because of you, and that's why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org. One more video coming your way right now on lukeunfiltered.com. See you in Tampa this Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern.